Hi, I'm Rob Hislop with Can I Media. You're joining us today. We're in Banff at the 62nd Petroleum Safety Conference. It's put on by Enform, and joining us right now with that organization is Cameron MacGillivray. Thanks very much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure. It's a beautiful day to be in Banff.
Absolutely it is. Tell us a little bit about Enform first before we get into the conference. Tell us what the organization is and does.
Sure. Enform is the upstream oil industry safety association. So we are the chief advocate and resource for safety for the industry.
Okay, and this conference, what is the goal of it?
Well, the goal has been for the last 62 years to bring the industry, its members, its stakeholders, and those associated with the industry together to talk about safety. Kind of take time away from the office and get together to exchange ideas and improve safety performance for the industry.
Now, this is an industry that has obviously undergone a lot of change when it comes to technology and the workers' involvement as well. How has safety changed when it comes to the oil and gas industry?
Well, you're right, Rob. Safety, like everything else in the industry, changes as the industry changes. So not only have we changed where wells are being drilled, the type of plays that are being drilled, but the technology that's being used to drill these wells. And so safety has to march along with that advance. And we look at new initiatives every year to capture what's going on in the technology side. So we have a group, for example, that just goes out to industry every year and gathers new ideas and new initiatives. And that's part of how we stay current.
Do you see the industry embracing the changes that are coming to keep its workers healthy and safe?
Well, I think the industry really realizes that it must do this in order to accomplish its ends, which is to improve safety performance and also to demonstrate that they're concerned citizens in general, and to improve safety performance is just part of being a good citizen.
We met a gentleman a little bit earlier this morning here at the conference who lost his right arm in an accident on a rig as well. Obviously, you don't want any accidents to happen. Your vision is that you get down to zero accidents. Is that something that you think is actually attainable?
You know, to have a vision of zero, and we hope someday we'll see that vision occur. Moving towards that vision is more where we are focused now. So how do we look at our safety record in the past, the recent past, and know whether we're moving in the right direction? So it's all about moving towards better and better performance, and that we think is an achievable goal.
For people who don't have the good fortune to be at this conference, tell us about some of the topics that are being tackled here and maybe some of the experts that you brought in to talk about them.
We've got a variety of speakers, top-notch speakers, and we're tending to address in this issue the owning safety, bringing safety to a personal level. So the theme of this year's conference is owning safety. Much of the stuff that we're talking about at this conference also relates to one of the recent questions you had from you about changing technology. So, for example, as you move into more complicated systems, you need a different kind of safety approach. You need to look at process safety issues, which talks about things like engineering controls, process controls, and how humans interact with those complex systems. And that's the very current topics in safety, and that's one of the key themes here at the conference.
Are you expecting to hear I guess issues here or topics, things that you haven't been aware of in the past? Is it that type of a conference where it's bringing new ideas to the table?
You know, I think part of the workshops help to establish if there are any new ideas to be exchanged, or at least they may be new to one group and not to another. So it's encouraging that kind of exchange of thinking and what are some of the issues and approaches to safety that might be novel and workable in the future. That's part of what we're trying to achieve.
The safety side, I can see where it's important for the people in the industry. It seems like in the media and in the public, when they think about oil, it's the environment that is paramount all the time. How do you convince them that the safety aspect is just as important and needs to grow along with protecting the environment as well?
You know, safety is something that strikes home when it's not happening. If you've ever had a worker who was injured who worked under your supervision, it strikes very close to your heart. So, and all of us in the industry, in my 35 years in the industry, I've had those things happen, and it makes you very much aware and very concerned about progressing the safety issue. And after all, that's what we're all about, sending the guys home safe at night. And not a lot of jobs have that as a motto. Basically, the average person will never work in an industry where, sending somebody home is important, it's safe is important. Well, we're working in outside environments that change frequently. We're working with technologies that change. We're working with rotating equipment and heavy equipment. And there's a certain amount of risk that we need to manage when we do those. So it's not like working in an office environment. We have to have safety management systems in place that respect the risks that are inherent in the business.
You said you've been in the business for 35 years. Obviously, when it started out, I'm thinking safety wasn't as big a concern because I hear stories about how difficult it was working on the wells. with the new equipment that's out there that makes things safer, are you encouraged with the direction that the industry seems to be going?
I think we're making tremendous progress. You know, we can look at some complicated systems where companies are very much at the leading edge in terms of working with human interactions with systems and encouraging people to report unsafe conditions when they see them. Also trying to predict conditions that might come about that might lead to a safety incident. So we can look at the past results and say we can learn from the past, but we can also look at indicators of what might be going on in a system that indicate failure may be approaching or needs some attention. And so trying to look at predictive behaviors is also a fairly new and current topic.
Cameron, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Rob.
We've been chatting with Cameron MacGillivray here on Can Media. He is with Enform, the host of the 62nd Annual Petroleum Safety Conference being held here in Banff.